mostly do a lot of manufacturer testing. Manufacturers send me their products to test, and I test it with a series of different products that we carry, whether it's HVLP, electrostatic, a 440, whatever I usually test. So today we're talking about HVLP, and you'll see, step back here, all these machines look the same, right? Like, man, why do we have 4, why do we have 5 different HVLP sprayers? Well, the answer is simple. They all have specific reasons. Each machine has different PSIs. We start with a 55, we go to a 75, we go to a 95, a 105, and an 11.5. Now, what does that mean? All pressure. When you look at the numbers, it's very simple to remember. 75 is 7.5 PSI. All the way up to 11.5, it's 11.5 PSI. The ranges are, if they're spraying stain, I would keep them in the low side. If they're looking to spray more latex, then you go from the higher side. You'll see that we have an HVLP transfer pump set up, and there's a couple of different style guns that we're going to talk about. A traditional HVLP started out with this style of gun. Actually started with this style of gun. This is the old Maxim 2 gun. The Maxim 2 gun is it's still an industry standard gun, very simple to operate. You have fluid control and you have air control. And just into your adjustment, depending on the style of flow that you want, you can adjust your air. And we'll talk about that as we do. As we've progressed over the years, different styles of guns have appeared. And the differences between these two are pretty great. And you'll see that this gun is a different type of configuration because it's hooked up to that HVLP transfer pump. The transfer pump eliminates the port container and now gives you just a standard gun. And what's nice about this is instead of spraying with this and trying to spray cabinets, you're limited as far as what you can do turning wise. You can't go upside down with it, of course. So with this particular gun, now you have full range and control, especially for your cabinet guys and girls out there. This makes it really easy for you. Now I'm going to show you the differences. Imagine working with that all day or working with that all day. Big difference, right? So if I'm the painter and I'm painting cabinets all day, that's the gun I want to use. And we're probably at about halfway full on this particular gun. So you get much greater versatility out of this particular gun. HVLP sprayers work in the same fashion as other traditional sprayers. They have to use a tip. In this case, they use projector sets. And I'm going to show you the projector sets. The projector sets are just like needles. They look like this. The smaller the number, the thinner the material. The larger the number, the thicker the material. And you can see this goes on the new style gun. These are for the Maxim 2 Elite. And the older style gun uses this particular needle. So you can see the differences there in those particular two. This is a number 2 needle, just to show you the differences. And this is a number 6. So you can see how much more blunt that one end is. So I would spray a little bit thicker material with this one, say, versus this one. I would probably use this for spraying stains, and something like this for some thicker base latex. So that's how an HVLP sprays. It gets pulled back, allowing material to jettison out through. So these tips get pulled back, or projectors, I would say. The projectors also have to use a body and an air cap, so they correspond. So if you're using a number 2, you would use a number 2 air cap, and everything kind of plugs in together.
How long how much material can you spray out of this thing before they wear? They not wear like
hundreds and hundreds of gallons. They don't wear like a standard tip now. Okay. Standard tip, you go maybe 100 gallons. Something like this, you go a couple hundred gallons. Start noticing wear, and you'll notice it. Your fan pattern will get really choppy, and it'll end up almost looking like, hard to describe, it looks really bad though. It's not a really fine finish of the step. So let's go over here. We're going to use the HVLP 115 hooked up to the transfer pump. And you'll see what I have on here is a number 4. Typically I would use a number 3. I would use a Pro Classic. You'll see there's a couple of different ways. If I were to turn this in this particular style here, I can get a straight line like that, so that'd be good for either edging or kind of spindle fencing. You'll see that once I go perpendicular, I get that fan pattern. Now it's opposite, so just keep in mind when I hand this over to you, you'll see that once I turn it this way, it's the opposite direction. That's what you would think. Now you would think